What's up, everybody? I'm back with another video, so let me borrow 10 to 15 minutes of your time. Today I wanted to talk about my college experience. And no, not that kind of college experience. If you were expecting me to talk about that, sorry, but I have no goon material for you today, okay? But to start off, I was lucky enough to be a part of a program at my high school where I got direct help applying to the college I was planning to go. The college I was planning to go to was just a community college. It was close enough to my house and obtainable for how I did in high school for me to go there comfortably. I didn't do horrible in high school, but I didn't do stellar. I did like above average, but not that much above average. But it was amazing. I got priority on my classes. I had direct help with what classes I should take based on what I was interested in at the time, which was computer science. I got to pick my schedule and build my campus or my on-campus time around when my friends were going to be on campus so we can hang out and stroke each other and make out between classes. I even got to tour the college as a field trip. 2 truths, 1 lie. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I was set for my first year of college. But all good things, unfortunately, comes bad things. During my senior year, my family was financially struggling at the time. Around the second semester, I moved in with my nana. I moved out of my house because it just got too expensive. I moved with my grandmother, and we were just gonna stay there. And my parents were gonna house hunt in the area because my dad's job was over there, and we wanted to stay in the area because we lived there for years at this point, and we had no reason to leave. It took a while, but obviously I ended up graduating. Thank God I didn't have to move in high school. I was so nervous that I was going to have to leave for my second semester, and that my second semester would be at some random fucking high school, and it was going to be a big thing, and I wasn't going to know anybody. That would have been horrible. After I graduated, unfortunately, my parents didn't find a house. And they also didn't want to live with my grandmother anymore, which was super reasonable. Like, she was just not great, and especially towards my dog, it was too much. I couldn't let that happen. So we had to move. But since my parents couldn't find a house, the next best thing was to move in with my grandparents, 2 hours away from my college. Now, my whole high school year, and even now, I have always been a firm believer that 90% of the time, gap years are a fucking huge waste of time. It's just an excuse for people to be lazy, okay? And now, when I say that 90%, I don't mean the people who are going through financial struggles or real diagnosed mental struggles. If you're going through that, take your gap year. You need it more than me. If you're working a horrible job or helping sustain your family, take a fucking gap year. Okay? That's not for me to judge. But if your thing is like, oh, I'm kind of sad or kind of going through something, I hate to say it, everybody's kind of going through something. Shut up. Take your fucking classes. Get it over with, because I promise you, after that gap year, that year of you not being in school, it's like coming back from summer vacation and you don't remember shit, but times 10, because that's what it is. And I know your ass isn't going to fucking read or study that whole year, and if you do, props to you. You're better than that 90%, okay? Use your time super wisely. But because of when my parents decided to finally move, it was during that first semester. I had to take a gap year. And honestly, I'd be lying if I didn't say that it was one of the worst years of my life. At the time, my relationship was at a real low point, which is already a big deal, right? I'm moving away from my girlfriend, and then shit's actually getting really stressed between us. That's not fun. And then to boot, I was sharing with my fucking sister a tiny little room, and she was the worst roommate of all time. She would stay up super late. When I was trying to sleep, she'd be super loud. She would like never clean the room. She'd get mad at me for waking up at like 8 to 9 in the morning, like every day. And by the way, I slept on a blow-up bed. She didn't like me deflating the blow-up bed. I'm like, bro, it's not my choice to sleep on this shit. And if you've slept on a blow-up bed for a weekend, I had to sleep on a blow-up bed for months. It does not feel good. It's not a mattress. It's completely different. And to even add to that, we had no hot fucking water. So we had every shower was fucking cold. Okay. And I'm a hot shower guy. Okay. So I was fucking like crying every time I had to shower. I hate it. But I mean, it was that or be stinky, right? And I'm not trying to stink max right now. Or then. Something like that. And the big cherry on the fucking AI generated cake is my grandmother is a hoarder. The house was such a fucking mess that as we were planning to move here, we were cleaning it out. We only cleaned out 2 of the bedrooms good enough before we just had to move in because we didn't have enough time. It was fucking crazy. If you ever known a hoarder, there's a good chance there's fucking critters in the house, and I had fucking critters in the house. You used to be able to hear them in the fucking walls, dude. Come on, bro. Some fucking Chinese water torture shit, okay? And the only thing that got me through it was every single day when I woke up at 9 in the morning and I rolled my fucking bed up and put it away, all I could think about was I can't wait to go to sleep and wake up tomorrow. And that's all it was every single day. And it worked. It took a long while, but things did start going up for me. My sister finally fucking moved out. That was a big thing for me. My sister moving out, dude. Having my own room and that silence and being able to sleep on a real bed. Holy. It was amazing. Okay, I can goon 24/7. Okay, no, but seriously, it was a big deal for me. It wasn't great, but it was definitely an improvement. But my relationship was better from like a cool 20 to maybe like 45% like out of 100. And I was taking any good at that point, guys. Like, okay, shit was rough, you know. Around the time my sister moved out, it was around the time that the new semester was starting. I was not about to be an unemployed bum who wasn't even going to school. Okay, I was not trying to do that shit. So, obviously, I had to apply to college. The hard part about it was the people that were helping me, the counselors, they did like most of the work for me. You know, I think it's just the fact that I actually came there and they were surprised that I came there, and they had a passion for actually helping out high school students, especially because my high school was a little ghetto. Hate to say it, but it was. Now, I had none of that. And it was like, what, almost 2 years since I did that, because it's not like I did that in my second semester. I did it in my first semester of high school. I did what any reasonable kid did, and I went to my parents and I was like, can you help me with this? Now, I don't think my dad went to college, and my mom did like maybe a fucking class. I don't even know. And that was years ago. My parents are kind of assholes. Anytime I used to ask them about literally anything at that time, they'd be like, oh, well, you're an adult now, figure it out. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure it out. But if you've done this before, it'd be nice to get some kind of help. You know, this doesn't have to be a maturity thing. Dude, you don't even want to know the fucking headache doing FAFSA what my parents was. I might have as well just fucking shot myself in the brain. Fucking painted that shit everywhere, okay? Funny enough, too, around that time, I also scored a temporary job, and I got lucky enough to pass through all the horrible application stuff, and I was a full-time college student. I think I was taking English 1, some like random history, political class for like my GED. I was taking trigonometry and I think C++, and they were pretty normal. My trade class was held because it was an 8-week course. Dude, when I tell you, everybody in my coding class was the equivalent of like the most stereotypical DVD player you could think of. Oh my god. I used to get secondhand embarrassment whenever they would talk to you. It's fucking crazy. To make it even better, of course I had a new professor. It was like their second year of teaching, and they had like an 80% fucking drop rate. Long story short, I definitely dropped that class, dude. It was bad. But that's the thing with me too, is I've never had trouble with school. learning wise or doing my work on time. I wasn't the worst at that kind of stuff. And at this point, I was doing good enough to where I was just happy I was finally in college. You know, that gap year really did take a lot out of me, but it didn't last. Weirdly enough, I was so drained to the point to where, like again, don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. I was just there because I had to. You know, and then you get the question in the back of your head consistently slamming on you like, do you really want to do this? I didn't know. Then, sorry to be so sudden, then my second semester started. And it honestly felt like a dream. I took a communications class. I took a pre-calculus class. I took a class that was supposed to help you like figure out what you wanted to do. I don't remember what it was called. But my professor was fucking dope. She was a counselor too. She ended up becoming my counselor. But my last class... Oh, and they forced me to take C++ again. I talked to my counselor, told them that the professor was bad, and they're like, maybe you just had like a bad start. Maybe you should just try it again. And it was the same fucking experience. And it was crazy too, is all the people that dropped it the first time were in there again. It was like, dog, nobody's passing this class. And as fast as it started, it was already over. So I got my counselor, like towards the end of the semester, again, the one that was my teacher. And I was super early. I was like, let's schedule my next semester. So, fortunately, that's where my luck would end. Again, I didn't get FAFSA when I applied. My school emailed me telling me that they would just pay for my classes and that was it. And I was like, whatever, that's fine. I can pay for books, like $100 worth of classes as opposed to like a $100 book. I'm fine with that. But they didn't even pay all my classes. So skip to September. I'm waiting for my classes to start. All my friends' classes are starting, like from the college I was supposed to go to. My girlfriend's class is starting. I'm like, why is my class not started yet? And I was checking my Canvas. I didn't check my fucking school account. And when I did, my heart dropped. I was dropped from every class. And it was because I didn't pay that extra amount that my classes cost. And to make it even worse, classes already started at that point, like for like a week or two. And even when I paid the amount that I owed, my account was fucking locked. So for 2 more weeks, I went back and forth by email with my school to get access to my account again, but it was too late. All my classes had no fucking space left. So I was like, great, another fucking gap. At least it's for a semester. And I was on another really bad down spiral. I felt like such a disappointment and a failure. I don't even know to who, my girlfriend, my parents, me. It was worst. Skipping through those empty months, finally I had applied to all the classes that I was supposed to take for the next semester, and this time I did it super early again. You know, I wanted first priority, I wanted to get it done with. I hate doing all that shit. I like getting it done and not looking at it. So I'm not looking at it, and then January comes around and my friend and we're all in VC and we're all talking about college. And he's like, we should all check our school stuff, because we all like to avoid that stuff. I was like, fuck it, we're all together. And I check, my heart drops. I was dropped from every class but one. So it turns out my school now expects me to pay for my classes before I even take them, which is fucking stupid because it didn't make me do that the first semester. So I had to do my FAFSA. I had to email my school that my FAFSA went through, and then they were like, oh, you took next year's FAFSA, so you have to do like this year's FAFSA. So then I had to do this year's FAFSA, and you know, at school, like, they only text you or email you like business days. It took like 2 to 3 weeks to get it sorted out. So finally, I applied for my classes, and it only didn't drop me from one class, which was my new C++ class. I learned that I could have just taken C++, but with a different fucking college, because they were just like, oh yeah, like, we're like branched with a bunch of community colleges, so you just take it at this college. Like, it's totally fine. It'll like link to your Canvas and everything. Like, you don't have to do any work. And I was like, so my fuck ass old counselor forced me to retake a class with the same shit professor when I didn't have to do that. What are we doing? Also, by the way, during this time, I did change my major because I don't want to have a degree working at fucking Starbucks. I'm gonna be honest. And I also just wasn't happy with it. It just wasn't for me. Now, even though my schedule wasn't perfect, at least it was a full load of classes after a semester of doing nothing. And that brings me to today. I barely started my trade class. Midterms just happened last week. I'm in my break week now. My last 2 classes are 8-week courses, so I don't know how good the uplift schedule will look. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'll try my best, but other than that, I've been on a steady incline again. Though, I will say, it's not as steady as it should be because of an incident that I will talk about in maybe another video that I still am archiving. I did make a video about it, but that video was shit and I was tired, I was falling asleep. So maybe I'll remake it, but that's been my college experience so far. I hope this was entertaining for you to hear me ramble about my shitty college experience and hopefully helped you sleep, or maybe you watched it for 1 minute and you're not even hearing this because you just turned it off and you're like, man, this shit's ass, and you disliked the video. Sorry, please don't do that. I'm sorry. Give me some criticism, don't just dislike the video, okay? But yeah, guys, learn from me. Don't make the same stupid fucking mistakes that I did. And if you disagree with any of my takes, about gap years or anything, feel free to tell me in the comments that actually gap years are scientifically by study this, and you can do all that stuff. I'll read it, I'll respond, or maybe I'll just read it and like it and pin you, and that's all I had to say. Maybe I'll give an update after this semester ends. But have a good day, everybody. Peace.